And I believe we're live. Hello, my name is Warren J, and this is Controlled Chaos, and welcome to the Barn Burner Network on ZINGOTV channel 250.
Please remember to download both the Barn Burner and ZINGOTV apps in their respective app store on iOS and Android services.
While you download, make sure to rate and leave a comment. Both apps are free.
ZINGOTV is also available on Chromecast, Amazon Fire, and Fire Stick TVs. Fire TV Stick, sorry. Roku and Roku 6, also all on smart TVs 2016 forward.
Yes. So once again, this is Controlled Chaos. I'm one of your hosts, Warren J.
I'm your other host, Tamara Siobhan.
And the show, again, Controlled Chaos, where anything can happen.
Within reason.
Within reason, yes. We like to manage the chaos. So, Tamara, what should we talk about here? We got a whole lot going on in the world right now.
Yeah, so we're gonna start by just seeing how we're doing a little check-in on how we're doing so far. So, I mean, this week's been pretty crazy.
Yeah, a little bit.
They tried to compare the election to baseball, like just innings in baseball, but it's been a whole season.
Yeah, it's been a little bit more of a cricket match, to be quite honest. When we're on 72 hours of election day, I just tuned out. I can't even do it anymore. This is insane. Good God.
Yeah, no, halfway through, they just changed it to election week. Like, I was like, I'm sorry, it's 2 a.m. and now it's election week. I don't even know. I don't get the electoral college thing. Like, it seems really insane.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I mean, like, I kind of get someone made a decent case for it where, like, most of the populations are like, in the big cities on the coast and stuff like that. So, like, in order to represent the interests of each state, it's kind of why they have electoral college. So, like, that made a little bit of sense. But, yeah, the way that it hinges to, like, the battleground states and stuff like that, like, that's kind of where it loses me a little bit. Like, you're like, guys, Pennsylvania, like, it's the most important one. Steeltown, you know, like, you just gotta, I don't understand that personally. But, I mean, I'm Canadian, you know.
I know, I've never seen people, like, root so hard for, like, the worst places I've ever seen.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Florida carries a lot of weight there. That's just... I mean, cool, like, no disrespect to Florida, but I'm going to disrespect Florida a little bit here. I mean, isn't that kind of the place that it's the one where all the funny headlines from America are like Florida headlines? It's just like, I don't know what kind of planet it is down there, but it's a very, very strange place, and they're important in the election. So,
look, so Florida Man is like a whole thing that's been happening for a long time. You know the game for Florida Man, like what you need to do for it.
Wait, there's a game for it?
There's a game. We can actually play it right now. There's a game. So you use your birthday, and then you add Florida Man to it. And that's like your Florida horoscope.
Yeah. Okay, I do know. I am familiar with this, actually.
Okay, I'm gonna look yours up right now. When's your birthday?
October 6th.
October 6th, and it's literally like a horoscope. You know, it's like the Cosmo for the Disturbed.
Yeah, like, it's just whatever the headline is kind of like something that you might do on a bad day.
It's within you.
Okay, I like it. I'm channeling my Florida Man right now.
Okay,
let's see.
Here we go. Here's yours. Florida Man interrupts Hurricane Matthew live report to yell, oh, I actually can't say that on
air. Classic Florida. Well, okay.
So he interrupts the TV report to yell, blank, out for Harambe.
Oh, okay. Is that, we can't say that?
No, that's not the word we can't say. Here we go. Here's a good one. Here's your second Florida Man. Right. Florida Man mistakenly shoots and kills son-in-law in birthday surprise gone wrong.
Birthday surprise involving a gun. Well, all right. That's I hope that doesn't happen on my birthday or my son's birthday.
I love it's a birthday surprise gone wrong.
Yeah, I just want to know what that would have been like if it went right. Like, what was the big plan? Like, it was supposed to be like a flag that shoots out and says happy birthday, but instead he just loaded it with hollow points and capped his kid. Like, I don't know. I'm a little confused what the ideal outcome would have been there, but okay, cool.
Brandon Lee of them. You know, Brandon Lee.
What?
Bruce Lee's son, Brandon Lee.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he got that, and they're like, "Oh, this is a stunt gun," and then they shot him and killed him on set. And I was like,
"Really?
That's how he died."
Damn, I knew that was like Marvin Gaye got it from his dad too, cleaning the gun or whatever, but I didn't know that Bruce Lee's kid was shot with the gun. Well, Jesus, firearms are dangerous, folks.
Turns out.
Yeah. Oof. Well.
Okay. Let me see
Okay. Interesting. Let's see. What are yours?
Okay. So Florida man. So my birthday's November 27th, which is coming up.
Okay.
So I'm about to embody this soon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is it gonna be a gun-related birthday? Should I bring my gun?
Okay. Here we go. Florida man accused of stabbing woman over underdone potato.
Whoa. That must have been a really underdone potato for it to have escalated that badly.
It was raw. It must have been raw. That's the only way.
Yeah, it has to be. Yeah. Like, I mean, unpleasant for sure. Seems like an overreaction.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, the knife's already there.
yeah, well, that's true. Yeah. If he was cutting the potato, then you get, ew, and you get stabbed with that gross, starchy knife. Ugh, talk about insult to injury. That's terrible.
But I guess she survived because it doesn't say anything about her dying. Well, it's just a headline, so who knows?
Yeah, well, I guess yeah, you gotta do the follow-up story. Oh, that's terrible. Florida, such a violent place, such beautiful weather, but when it's not like hurricane season, obviously, right? Like just sunshine and strippers.
It's either the best weather or you've lost your home. There's no in between.
Yeah, there's really not really a medium on that spectrum. Jesus. Wow.
Have you ever been to Florida? Have you ever been there? I've never been.
You know what? I haven't actually. I would like to go one day before it completely underwater, sometime in the next 10 years. It'd be good. What about you? You been?
Yeah, I've been there for work, but I've never been there to enjoy. So.
No.
Yeah, I've been for work, but I've never enjoyed it. It's been it's nice in theory. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
sounds good. Yeah.
How are you doing in lockdown right now? Because it's apparently they're opening everything up next week.
Yeah, well, it's not like full like a lockdown right now. Like there's still some freedom of movement. You can sit if you want to freeze your ass off on a patio in Toronto winter weather. Like you can drink on the patio. I did a day on the patio, a couple of days ago. That was kind of cool. They got like heaters, but then like the wind comes in and you're like, Jesus, this is completely inadequate. Like this is not keeping me that warm. It's really bad. You can only have like one drink, 2 drinks, and then you just like turn into a popsicle. You got to get out of there.
Yeah, last week or the week before? I saw someone in a full like parka, gloves, like shivering, holding a beer, and I'm like, man, come on. Like,
yeah, it takes the joy out of it. It's like since I was a teenager, those were the last years where I was willing to you get drunk at like a park or a school or something because you can't go into a bar to drink. And that was I've weathered some pretty cold nights drinking, but like not as an adult. I'm 32 now. Like I can't. I'm trying to have dignity. It's not working out that well, but like I try, so. I don't. Yeah. I can't really handle it. I can't hang. What about you? Any entertaining things that you're doing with social distance and sitting outside?
Yeah, I'm socially distancing from my bra. I haven't worn one all week.
Nice. It's about freedom. I haven't worn underpants, to be completely honest, in like 3 years. Sweats. Oh yeah, sweats and no underwear. Oh, it's special occasions, right? Like if I'm going to like a family, I get invited to Christmases because for some reason I have a girlfriend around Christmas time every year, and different one each year. But then like I get invited to their Christmas parties, so like then I've gotta, I still wear my sweatpants, but I don't. I put on some underwear or something at least.
'Tis the season.
I'm not an animal, You gotta have some decorum.
No, I actually don't really know what's going on with this lockdown right now. I feel like I'm not really sure why, because England's going back into their full lockdown. Like they're back in lockdown today, actually.
Yeah, England is, it's different. I guess they're getting quite a few cases over there compared to us.
Yeah, I think I don't even know what they're at, but that England's the only place where everyone calls their prime minister by his first name. Nowhere else does that.
Yeah, that's true. No one colloquially refers to Donald Trump as Donald, and he was the Donald. Like that was what they called him before he became president. And then they're like Trump. They're like, all right, cool, whatever. Like that's Bush, Obama. They don't really do that. Same with Canada, right? Justin. No one calls Justin Trudeau Justin. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even think about that. Very
Boris is shutting it down.
Yeah, Boris. Like, that's an interesting name for a British prime minister. It's much more of a Russian, like Slavic country type of name, but yeah, Boris. Well, Johnson, I guess. That's.
It shows you how deep, colonialism went.
Yeah, Boris Johnson, no doubt. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. You know what? I'm going to tell you what I don't like about this thing. Like, I'm not one of those like rebels without a cause. Like, I wear a mask when I go into the stores. I keep my social distance. I wash, sanitize my hands and stuff like that. I'll tell you where I draw the line. And this is, every man's got to have his hill to die on, right? Like, if you don't stand for something, you lay down for anything. And this is the one that I don't like. The lanes in the grocery store that point you're only supposed to go this way or like that way, like that's, I'm sorry, but like, no, this is silly. This is, no. Like, I don't want to sound dramatic, but my great grandfather did not die in WW2 so I could live in Nazi Germany. I'm not doing it. This is outrageous. No. It's like, what do? Think about it. That you're like pushing the thing along, and you look back, and you're like, oh no, the pickles! Like, I missed my exit. And you gotta take your bloody cart all the way around to the other aisles, and then go back down southbound, and then turn around and do it again. Like, that's crazy. I actually had one of the store guys. He's like a shelf stocking boy. I don't know what you call him. The guy who was putting food on the shelves, and he looked at me. He's like, oh, excuse me, sir. Like, you're in the wrong lane. Like, told me I was in the wrong lane. Pushing the thing on like a one-way street. I'm like, buddy, I couldn't resist the opportunity. Obviously, I'm like, I think you need to stay in your lane, sir. You need to just put that crap dinner on the damn shelf and mind your business. This is crazy. Like, I don't want to demean you for your job. I get it. You don't set the policy, but like, can't you just look the other way? This is like, we're adults. Okay. That one, I can't do it.
Honestly, I look at the little taped arrows on the ground and I'm like, that's cute. Like, I'm not fine. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like when you go to Walmart and you're walking through the ending where it's like, do you want a cream egg? Do you want mini eggs? Do you want Tic Tacs? Do you want cinnamon hearts? And like, you're just I feel like that's my whole thing. You can't send me in a grocery store to walk around while I'm just like, bored with a bunch of money from Justin Trudeau. You think I'm not going to buy everything in sight? Like, come on.
Yeah, exactly. Just grab everything. It's craziness.
Yeah. Like, I got Lucky Charms the other day. Like, I'm an adult. Like, this is what happens when you put me in the wrong aisle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? I haven't had Lucky Charms in a really long time. Something crazy. Trix cereal is just like little balls. They don't even shape them like fruit anymore. Like, they're just phoning it in completely. I'm like, General Mills, guys, like, this used to be, the grapes were shaped like grapes. The bananas were shaped like bananas. I don't even know if they taste different anymore. I think it's just like one thing and they stamp them out. They just took Cocoa Puffs and changed the box. Or not Cocoa Puffs, Fruity Pebbles. It's like Fruity Pebbles, pretty much.
Cereal connoisseur. I guess Trix aren't for kids anymore.
Yeah, I grew up, my house was very much a sugar and fat-based diet, right? The 90s was a lawless time, like there was just, I feel like there was this was before they put food advertising, like the nutritional content on fast food. You didn't even know how much fat and calories was in a Big Mac back then. You just there was nobody that controlled that. It was completely... Just no policing whatsoever of nutritional information. The Canada Food Pyramid, you remember that thing?
Oh yeah.
God. Yeah, food pyramid. At the top is like fats, which is like, okay, maybe that's where they should go. And then like the second layer is like fruits, I think, and then vegetables. And it gets wider as it goes on because there's the things you're supposed to consume more of. And then the bottom two, like the top, what should comprise most of your diet was dairy and like bread, like carbs, pasta. This is insane.
Yeah, you're like, okay, Italy. Like, I don't know if this is right.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that's pretty much what it was. Like the amount of lobbying that went into that corrupt, like this nutritional guide. There's no way. Even at the time with what we knew, there's impossible that that's what people thought. Like, yeah, lots of cheese and like white bread, because this is probably before multigrain bread existed, even like white Wonder Bread. Cheese Whiz probably counted as cheese, because this was also the era where cheese came in any form but a block. Like there was like cheese in an aerosol can. You just spray paint it onto your bread.
That was crazy. Spray cheese was insane.
Spray cheese was an abomination. And then the cheese, there was spray cheese. What else was there? Cheese Whiz, right? Was a big one. Velveeta. all of this stuff. Like it was nonsense. This was like, it was white trash dairy that had no place being in like an average home, part of a regular meal. Like I used to, I don't know, man, it's crazy.
I mean, I grew up in a Jamaican household, so like.
Oh, I think you might be cutting out a little bit. Oh. Are we having technical difficulties? Hello. Oh no. Can't hear you, can't see you. Tamara, are you there? Uh-oh. Well, grew up in a Jamaican household. I'm gonna hope that this video play, the feed resumes here in a second. I grew up in like a super white household, so we ate, like, my parents didn't really say no to us very often. Ate a lot of toaster strudel for breakfast. Oh, can you hear me? I can't. I'm like, you're breaking up on my end. Oh no. Uh-oh. Okay. So Tamara just got dropped here. We're gonna see if she rejoins this again in a second.
Here I am.
There you are. Hey, you're back. Okay. Did you get you good? Was that like freezing on your end too? Oh God.
Yeah, it's freezing. I don't know what's going on with that, but here we are. We're back. This is times of quarantine. This is how it is, really.
Yeah, pretty much. We're just rubbing sticks together to make fire at this point. Send help, SOS. Okay. Well, anyway, you were saying you grew up in a Jamaican household, and
yeah, I didn't have craft dinner until I was like 22 years old, and that was like snuck to me by like someone that was like my white friend.
Yeah, dude, it was. But you know what? It's like you're better off for it. It's not like white families. Like I'm surprised I didn't get diabetes by the age of 15. Like it was just, and there was no justice, no what do you call it? No regulation of what I was eating. Like lunch was always like Gushers, and you know, like you get all this stuff. The healthy thing was a granola bar dipped in chocolate. that was the one item that I was supposed to get some sustenance from. Yeah. So you know, there's a bit of a blessing having stricter food policies.
Yeah, no, for sure, 100%. I mean, like now I just eat like a full trash human, so I don't really. Quarantine really did that to me. Like, you know what? I've opened the. You want to get into the deep freezer? That's a whole new ball game.
Yeah, the deep freeze is really when that's when the damage gets done. Oh God, yeah.
Like, what you got today for lunch? You're like, a rack of them.
Yeah, pretty much. Just digging through whatever frozen meats. You're like, all right, I'm just gonna thaw out some ground beef, like burgers. When is it? Okay, it's midnight. Yeah, I'll have a burger. A homemade burger.
Yeah, I'll eat it. No problem. Like, yeah, no, it was bad.
Yeah,
like
completely.
It was actually bad. But I think we can move on to our next segment now.
Yeah, we're getting pretty close to there. I would say we're ready for topics from a hat, ladies and gentlemen. Here comes the chaos. This is where we are going to be picking topics from a hat. It's exactly what it sounds like, and we don't know. These things have not been pre-prepared for us, and so we're just going to kind of go and riff on that, and that should be fun. So, do you want to draw first? Should I draw first?
I will draw first. Your hat looks so much nicer than my hat.
I got the top hat. You're right, Dollarama had a top hat.
Yeah, see?
It was a Christmas hat. I cut off the bells and stuff like that because like it's November. It was like literally the beginning of November. They got all the Christmas stuff out already. I was like, you guys are insane. I'm not taking part in this tomfoolery. All right, well, if we like my hat more, then I guess we'll draw from this one and then
draw from that one first, and then I'll draw from my mom's hat that says Jesse's Collection on it.
Ooh, Jesse's Collection. All right. I wish that I was Jesse's Collection. Okay. Oh, yes. All right. We've got worst first date. So this is, yeah, wow. I'm going to get decision fatigue picking which one to go with. I've had so many. All right. Do you got one? Do you want to go or do you want me? I think I got one.
You have one? Okay, you can go first. But for anyone that's not sure what this is, we pick topics from a hat, and then we tell stories or tell like situations that are based on that topic, and they're usually chaotic. hence the controlled chaos.
Yes, we live chaotic lives. Comedians are generally not the most. Yeah, we got stories. Okay, so worst first date. Let me see. I got one. This was summer 2019. This was my hot girl summer. I was just saluting it up with everyone, and this was one girl who I kind of like. Okay, I was doing this weird thing back then where I was so bored with being a sex addict that I decided to like play bowling rules, a score. So I had my calendar, and if I hooked up with a new person, that was a strike. And if it was a repeat, that was a spare. And the whole goal of the month was to try and get a turkey. So 3 strikes, 3 different days in a row. And that was a turkey. And that's like, if you're, fan of bowling, that's like the thing you want, right?
Instead of bowling, yeah.
Yeah, right. Because I'm a sportsman, so playing, I like to compete against myself. So anyway, this was one where I was like just trying to. I had 2 strikes the previous 2 days, and so I was just like phoning in. I didn't care who it was. I wasn't being picky at this point. I just wanted to get the turkey so I could feel like I've accomplished something. And what I did was this girl, I couldn't really tell. She seemed like she was okay. I was just like, hey, what are you doing tonight? And, because I'd been talking to her on Bumble or something like that. And she's like, yeah, I'm good to go. Like this was like an hour before like 9. And I was like, damn it, I need to like find someone to go on a date with. And so this girl agreed to go on a date with me. Now, usually when someone is like a little bit shy, or like they don't have a lot to say, like I feel like that's something that's usually mentioned in the person's dating profile, right? Like people, because like it's like if somebody's, because usually they get a hard time about it, right? It's like girls who mention explicitly like, oh, by the way, I'm 5'10", if that matters. And you're like, okay, some guy like gave you a hard time about being tall, and now you want to like mention, right? So it's the same thing with people who are shy. And so she didn't really mention too much about being shy or anything like that. It seemed like it was gonna be a totally normal thing. And I can handle shy. I'm a talker. I can, I can do the heavy lifting as far as that goes. But this one was like a little bit next level. And also on the topic of dating apps, I just got to say, Tinder, I don't know what, I hope that they're making money from their like subscription model, because I don't know if have you seen the ads on Tinder? Have you used that app lately?
I never really used Tinder, to be honest.
Yeah, like good call, because like it's not great. I think that Tinder's sort of past its prime at this point. It's kind of like you're panning for gold in a litter box full of cat turds, and you just got to find like the people who are actually serious and don't totally suck as a person. And but yeah, man, the ads, they're so insane. They're such a poor product market fit. Like I looked, and there's like IT solutions, because you swipe and then there's like a person's profile and then an ad, and the ad is like, yeah, IT solutions. Like, what kind of maniac is clicking on this? It's like at 10 o'clock. You're sitting there, like maybe like a little bit, drunk. You had a few drinks. You got like a half a heart on. You're just like swiping right and right and right, and you're like, oh yeah, you're hot. You're not really, but you're wearing a choker, and I like those odds, right? And then, oh my god, IT solutions. Like, yeah, I need to hire a software engineer right now. What kind of insane person is actually clicking on that? So another one is like office furniture. Like some Everest College looking like a technical school thing, where it's like, oh yeah, this is the time where I'm really going to decide that, oh, I need to brush up on my typing skills or learn how to weld. Like, this madness, sheer madness. I don't know who is doing it. Anyway, that's my Tinder rant. But anyway, so I meet this girl, right? We meet at this little place down the street from my house. And because that's my move, right? The place is a block away. It's like, hey, you want to hang out? I'm like, right over there. Like, I don't even have to pay for an Uber because I'm frugal, right? This is why I have money. I save money. So, yeah, slick, smooth operator.
This is why I'm not on Tinder, by the way.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's just full of men like me. So, I'm not acting like I'm the winner. I'm just looking for winners. But yeah, we meet at the place. And you can always tell when you do like the hug, hello, the greeting, like how it sets the tone for the rest of the day, right? Like if it's a normal hug, you make decent contact, like, hey, how you doing? It's really nice to meet you. This girl, she didn't like recoil or go for like a handshake, but it was just like an awkward, like she didn't really hug back. It was like I was hugging a mannequin a little bit, like just like, oh, hey, it's nice to meet you. And she's like stiff. Just the body language was all off with this one. And so I'm like, all right, you want to sit down? We grab a table. And oh, did you freeze again? Oh, I think you did. Anyway, I'm just going to continue telling the story. We grab a table and we sit down, and this is one of those things where she didn't have anything to say. Like, I was just playing conversational squash with this person, going back and forth, and she didn't have anything to ask, didn't have anything to say. It was very, very quiet. And I was just, it was uncomfortable even for me. And I can carry a conversation. That's fine. You know, we talk a little bit about ourselves. I'm like prompting her with questions and asking her, you know, like, tell me a little bit about you, right? Like, and she just, it was the shortest possible answers. Like, she was just dodging the question. And so we really didn't get much talking done. And I'm figuring like, okay, this is a wash. I'm not going to have any success at trying to hook up with this person. And that was that. And I thought I was just going to end up going home. I asked her, I'm like, well, what are you doing after this? Right. Hopefully Mary's gonna, yeah, there you go. Yeah. And I'm asking the girl, I'm like, so what are you doing after this? Like, do you want to hang out and like come back to my place? And she's like, sure. I'm like, but it was like I was just talking to a wall. So I'm thinking like, you know what, I've got to like make this interesting. I was like, hey, I got some mushrooms back in my house if you want to take, you know, get a little weird. And like, because I'm thinking that this may loosen her up a little bit, right? Like, mushrooms shut down the default mode network, medically speaking, which is where your amygdala is, which is the part that people with crazy anxiety, that's your fear and stress center. So like, maybe if she's just a little nervous, this would be, you know, kind of get her into that zone of being funny and an entertaining person to be around. What a miscalculation that turned out to be. Jesus. So this is the weird thing. She's just like, yeah, sure, I'm going to do it. And like in our conversation, it came up that she had smoked weed for the very first time 2 weeks ago.
No.
And all of a sudden she's like, yeah, I'm going to do some mushrooms. I was like, wow, really? Like, that was an easy sell. I did not think that you would be on board with this. Like, she was young, right? She's like 22, maybe something like that. So like, granted, you got time ahead of you in life. But yeah, very strange how she's just like, yeah, mushrooms with a total stranger. Sure. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, we went back to my place. I put on, you know, like a BBC Blue Planet or something like that, because that's my move, right? I put on these David Attenborough documentaries, and because when a movie has a storyline, I don't know, I'm weird. I'm a continuity type of person. Once I get engaged in a movie, I generally watch it to the very finish, and then I'm like so tired and half asleep by the time that it's like, oh, do you want to, like, are we having sex? Like, it's just a weird timing thing. So like, I put on something where you can kind of have conversations and tune in and out, and it's not like story based. It's not Finding Nemo. You're just watching David Attenborough talk about fish, right? So I put that on, and after we eat the mushrooms, she like started to get super weird. Like, not like, she became comfortable, but not in a good way. Like, it was just like she was very, I don't know. At first she was like quiet weird, and this one, like, it amplified her weirdness. She like, at first I'm like, okay, cool. I like kind of go in for a kiss at some point in the thing, and then she like was, I don't know, she didn't like pull away, but it was just like she just like kept her face there and like didn't kiss back or anything. I'm like, well, that's all right. I'm not going to do this with you. This is just very strange. Feels like I'm trying to hook up with a store mannequin. So I didn't do that. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. Like, let's just watch this thing, right? I like BBC documentaries. And then she grabs my hands and she's like looking at my hands and like holding them up, and, like smacking her hands against my hands, and like she's like examining them, like, oh my God, like, you got webbed hands. She said I had webbed hands. I'm like, what?
You have webbed hands? That's let me see them.
They're not webbed. There's like the littlest bit of, you know, like skin in the thing, but like webbed hands. I was like, yeah, bitch, I'm the creature from the Black Lagoon. You got me. Like, oh my God, webbed hands, man. That was one for the books. I was just shocked. I'm like, okay, cool. And she just like kept smacking around the hands. Like, it's just a lot of weird hand, not the good kind of hand action you want on a date. And she was just doing that. And then like about an hour and a half into it, she just like gets up and she's just like, I think I'm going home. And I'm like, okay. No. I'm like, are you like good? Like, out of nowhere, just announced it, I'm going home. I was like, are you like safe to get home? Like, do you need me to call an Uber? She's like, I know how to get home. I'm like, okay. Like, just getting super like aggressive all of a sudden. I was like, all right, well, enough for chivalry. Like, just get the hell out of here. I gotta cry myself to sleep. And you know, like, that was it.
I love the person that is holding your hands and examining them, is trying to make you feel weird. Like
it did. It made me feel like I was doing something wrong. I was like, my hands are normal, okay? Like this finger's a little crooked and it goes up that way because I slammed it in a door when I was a kid. But I'm not a sea monster. I don't have webbed hands. Yeah, that was my date story. It was a very crappy date.
You're like, oh, do you need me to help you get home? And she's like, not with those hands. Like,
yeah. Like, no, I don't want those hands getting me home. I was like, I'm not gonna drive you. Can't grip a wheel. The hands are webbed. But yeah, man, it was I don't know, not really a fun time. And the worst part, like, I didn't even get the turkey. I was like, well, this sucks. Like, I wouldn't have enjoyed the sex, I'm sure, but at least it would have counted.
I forgot we were bowling.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that wasn't a lucky week for me.
I mean, that's a pretty weird date story, to be honest.
Yeah.
Mine is so mine goes all the way back to China. It was the worst date, as in like what happened was the worst, but like I mean, okay, so in China, like I lived there for 3 years.
Mm.
You meet a lot of expats. You want to like date these people that actually relate to you and speak the language that you do, because it's hard and you're out there and you don't know anyone. You're 14 hours away, like time wise, to talk to anybody. It's whatever. Everyone that's like an expat kind of just like bands together. So I met this guy, and it was during the phase of my life where like I only liked gingers. Like, I don't know.
Okay.
I was just obsessed with gingers, and like I after National Cake of Ginger Day, I like felt really bad, and I was like, no, save the gingers, and like I became this like advocate. Anyway, so this guy was a beautiful ginger man. Gingerbread man.
Yeah, gingerbread man. Did he run away as fast as he could?
So we had met initially on a bus to go to a Halloween party in Tianjin, which is like 35 minutes away, or an hour and a half away, something like that. I can't remember. But we met on this bus, and we were like hanging on this bus. It was really cool. And I was like, oh, we got off the bus, and he was like, yeah, we'll meet up soon. Like, we'll see each other. And then we got there, and it was like a huge field party at like a castle. And I didn't see him again. And I was like, oh, it'd be nice to have seen that guy again. Oh, well. And then I bumped into him again, like 2 weeks later, like 3 weeks later somewhere. And he was like, oh, it's fate's bringing us together. Maybe we should go out on a date. And I was like, okay, like, let's go on this date. Like, I'm about this. So, when you're going out on a date with someone that you actually like connect with and you like, so you try to look as nice as you've ever looked. So I'm doing it up. Okay, I got the earrings going, super like dangly. Got my hair like, well, it's always braided, but still, it looked better. It was like in a style.
Yeah.
I'm like wearing like like leopard, because that was like something that showed people you liked them back in the day. I had a bra on, which now looking back was huge. And
it's a big night.
Big night, putting on a bra. But I put on like jewelry, and I used to wear jewelry a lot back then, but I put on these like double rings. And I don't know have you ever seen those double rings? It's like they connect and you put them on two.
The ones that like 2 rings, like the like Mr. T used to wear those, like the double. Okay, yeah, I know the
double ring. They like connect, right? So I put those on. I haven't worn these specific double rings. I put 2 on top of each other. So I put one black one that hoops them all both, and then one silver one that like links them both. And I haven't worn these in like a year. Okay. And I'm like busting out the good rings. Okay. I do this. Everything's like, I'm looking fire. Like, I look so dope, if I could say so myself. And I go out to eat, and he's like, oh, I'll bring you out for chicken wings, which is like not racist back then. And
it's a cultural faux pas.
But like when he said chicken wings, I was like, chicken wings? Like, I was so pumped about it. Like, I was like, oh my god, me in my natural habitat near chicken. So I got really excited. We go to get these chicken wings. We sit down at this like Western restaurant, and I go to order the wings. They come, and I go to get ready to eat them, to go to take off the rings, and they're not coming off. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. I'm just gonna go to the bathroom real quick. So I run to the bathroom. I'm like, okay, no big deal. I'm gonna go to the bathroom, gonna get some soap and water on it. Tale as old as time. Greatest trick. I'm putting the soap all over them. I might have well dumped my whole hand in like some palm olive. Like it's soaked up. Okay.
Yeah.
Not coming off. I'm like, oh, okay. And so like I go back to the table. He's like, yeah, is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, everything's good. And so I start eating these wings with these rings on. And he's like, is that not uncomfortable? Do you not want to take off the rings? And I was like, totally cool. Like I like it like this. Like it's a challenge for me. He's, yeah, just take the rings off. Like it just looks like you're.
Oh boy, so he
like,
insisted.
No, totally fine. And he's like, no, come on. Yeah, so he's like, give me your hands. He goes to help me take the rings off. He's like, oh, they're not coming off. I'm like, yeah, I know, actually. They're really not coming off. I can't get these rings off. He's like, no, we just got to get some soap and water on it. I was like, no, I know. I tried that. They're not coming off. And he's like, oh, okay. So I eat the wings with one hand. Like I'm committed fully. Because wings are, you got to spread the fingers out.
Yeah.
You have webbed fingers. You can do it.
Yeah, exactly. If you're not unfortunate like me, you get the little manual dexterity involved in the mix.
So I'm like, all right, cool. Like, let's just do this. So I eat the wings, and I'm like, okay. He's like, should we end the date now? Because your fingers are like swelling up. And I look down, and it's like the hugest finger I've ever seen. It's like swelling. It's like the rings here, and it's like literally, it looks like there's like a baseball on top of my ring, and I'm like, oh no. He's like, should we end the date? I was like, no. We were gonna go to this wine bar. Let's go to the wine bar. No big deal. So we started walking to the wine bar, looking up remedies, and it's like elevate your hand and then put it into cold water for 10 minutes, and then elevate it, and she like let the blood like kind of like anyway. It was this whole thing. I'm trying it, not working whatsoever. And I'm like, oh my god. And he's like, now I'm like, I was committed. I was like, I'm gonna go home with this guy. And now I can't go home with like, the World Series baseball on my hands.
The mitt.
Yeah, the mitt, right? But I'm like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna commit. So we get back, and like, let me tell you, really bad when it's your dominant hand. I had to start using my left hand for everything. So I literally like was like, oh, I don't even know. He's like, do you even like me? Because I'm like trying to touch it, but I'm like, my finger just like slightly grazing his shoulder blade. He's like, you can just leave if you don't like me, honestly. I'm like, no, I do. I swear I do. He's like, you're barely touching me. Like, I can't. My hand's on fire. Like it was. And we started dating, which is crazy. Somehow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we dated for like years. We started dating. It was insane. But that's not the worst part about this is that date lasted like, I guess, 2 days. Because I like stayed over or whatever. But then I had to go to Hong Kong. I had to fly to Hong Kong 2 days later. And I went to the doctor beforehand to be like, hey, this is going to be fine, right? They're like, actually, it's not. If you get on a plane with that, with the pressure, you might have to lose your finger. And I was like, all over chicken wings, man. Like,
Jesus. Oh, my God.
I was in this hospital. I didn't speak any Mandarin. Like, I spoke Mandarin for, like, basic stuff. I didn't know how to say, like, prepare the scalpel or whatever.
Yeah. Excuse me, do you have an angle grinder? Yeah, I got you.
So they had to use these like really tiny like shears and like wiggle it in, and like you couldn't get anything underneath, and they had to like literally like shear it off. And everyone, because I lived in like a suburb of Beijing, it was like 35 people watching from the window cheering me on as it got cut off. And so it's like, that was the worst date. It had the best result, but it was the worst date. Like the panic in my eyes as I'm trying to like, no, I really like you. I just really want my hand. Like,
yeah. I'm not a southpaw, This is uncomfortable. Oh, woof. That's a bad one. That's interesting. I've not had anything like that happen. I just have webbed hands, I can't get the rings on there, so like I don't have these problems.
Yeah, no, obviously I can't. But like, yeah, that's pretty much that. I haven't had to go on a date in a while now, so that's pretty good. I'm not gonna ruin anything like that.
Nice.
But
yeah. Well, that's that was an interesting one. That was definitely one for the books. It's perfect timing, actually. We're coming up to the end of our segment, and next is going to be it's whose headline is it anyway?
What headline is it anyway? I love this.
Yeah. So you want to explain the segment for the people?
Yeah, so basically what we do for this, we have headlines that we have found, and they're crazy headlines with crazy stories, and then we discuss how ridiculous they are. Do you want to start with one, or do you want me to start with
one? You can start with one if you want.
Okay. This is actually good that I'm starting with this one because this is a classic that I feel like it relates really well to my story. It is from China Daily.
Okay.
Okay. And very eloquent and very concise headline entitled 22 tons of fake beef being sold in China. This is why you should be worried.
Wow. That's they can counterfeit anything. It's impressive. It really is fake beef. I think I've seen a similar story. Was this where they inject like red dye into pork and they like it's supposed to be they're selling it as beef? Or is this just like a completely made up like
no, this is a whole new thing. I'll tell you the first two lines of it.
Okay.
Okay. Selling fake beef is not only selling fake beef in China is not only a problem, it's also a huge crime. Over 900 people were arrested for meat-related offenses.
Meat-related offenses. Good God. 900 people too. That's a big operation. That is
beef mafia.
Yeah, that is like some straight beef mafia thing. Good God. It's a syndicate. It's a beef syndicate. Good heavens.
I actually can't, I don't even, first of all, who's writing these articles? Way too much information right out the gate for the headline.
Yeah.
The headline. It's a long headline.
It is it's a wordy headline. Like you can't really fit that into like a newspaper, right? It's like an online story headline.
But it was in the newspaper.
Oh, it was in the newspaper. Oh,
yeah.
Wow. How did they like lay out the page as like a 3-line headline like in the thing? That must have looked so awkward.
I'm just like 22 tons of fake beef being sold in China. This is why you should be worried. It's like, first of all, what? And then
22 tons.
Second of all, like, because basically they were selling it like a lot of like I don't even know different types of things as beef, but I just I want something better for China in this situation. Like, there's a way around this. It doesn't have to be a problem. You can just like pitch it in like I can't believe it's not butter way.
Yeah, I can't believe it's not beef. You can totally. Right? I mean, it's like it's honesty in advertising, right? Can they, if you're like, guys, it's not beef, but hear us out. It tastes kind of like beef.
Yeah, right. It's like it's not beef, but you're not gonna believe it, honestly.
It's pork and red dye number 7. Kind of tastes a little bit like beef and a little bit like you're dying. Yeah,
that would be enticing for me. I'd want to know. I'd be like, ooh, like they're like, I can't believe it's not beef. I'd be like, then what is it? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, mystery meat. I mean, it seems like something that I would try it just once, like vegan cheese. I had vegan cheese one time. It was disgusting, but I bought it at the store and I was like, okay, this is gonna be like, this doesn't taste like cheddar at all. But now I know. Now I know not to buy that again. So, like, it must just be one of those things, if people would, there's the kitsch factor, right? Interesting.
I mean, vegans, we love you, but like that's a whole new task that you guys are on. That's a journey for just you.
Next level, yeah. It's not for me.
I can't. Like, I'm not, dude. Like, chicken wings are like my life. Chicken nuggets, chicken wings. I'm the chicken nugget heiress. Like, this is like I want to. I want people to leave chicken nuggets to me when they die.
Yeah. I want them to throw them onto my casket when I'm being lowered in the ground like roses.
Don't bring roses.
Yeah. Just throw the nuggets. I want to bring them to the afterlife with me.
Throw me a 10-piece, a 20-piece if you really ever loved me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you're not going to give me 20-piece on this day, you can go straight to hell. There's no respect for the dead.
What article did you find, or what headline do you want to tell?
Here's one. A plane passenger, this is from the Miami Herald. Plane passenger smuggles 2 pounds of gold in body to dodge taxes, India officials say. Now, I'm going to break down the specifics because in the body could mean a lot of things, right? Maybe you're swallowing little balloons of gold, like you're smuggling heroin, and it goes in your stomach, and you hope that it doesn't break open and kill you. But this one was a passenger at an airport in India apparently was desperate to avoid paying taxes when flying in from Dubai on Tuesday. Authorities at Kannur Airport in Kerala said he was concealing around 2 pounds of flattened gold in his rectum.
No!
Wow. 2 pounds of gold. That's a lot of gold. Like,
how?
I'm assuming there's a picture, and my hypothesis was correct. These were not, in fact, rectangular prisms of gold bullion bricks shoved in the most awkward way. It was like shaped. Yeah, they're like kind of shaped, you know, like it made a little like gold like sausage. They look a little flat, to be honest, but yeah, they're long and kind of phallic in their shape. And 2 pounds he got up there.
No! Just based on things that I've had to endure, like, I don't know how it's possible.
Yeah. What kind of things, Samara?
I just don't see how that's possible.
I don't know. Yeah, like that's you know, it's an interesting thought experiment. If a stranger walked up to you with a whole bunch of gold and said, "Hey, I got a challenge for you. I'm going to give you as much gold as you want, but there's a caveat here. You have to be able to fit it in your ass." Like, how much do you think? I don't know how much I could get, to be honest. That's like I've never really tried to take on a challenge like that.
Nothing like punctured or like.
I don't think that happened to him. He just got caught smuggling it in. I don't know if they x-rayed him. Maybe they noticed he was walking a little stiff or something. Like he couldn't sit down when he got to his chair. I don't know. But yeah, 927 grams extracted from him. And he was flying to, arriving from Dubai. There you go. Dubai is just, that whole place is made of gold. So yeah, and he, I guess, didn't want to pay taxes on it. And so he put it up his butt. Interesting. Whoa, what is this? Another, good Lord, it gets better. Another passenger on the same flight was also attempting to sneak more than 3 pounds of the gold into the country. Oh, though the sources don't say where the person hid the precious metal. So maybe he wasn't the record holder. Because three pounds of gold up the batsy is rather impressive, I would say. But I don't think he might have just had it in his suitcase. And then this guy, they're just like, hey, wait a minute. So people are smuggling gold on this flight. This guy is like walking real weird. Maybe we should talk to him, ask him where he's going and where he's coming from.
I've never seen gold unless someone like cheated on me and tried to get back together. Like, I don't know how these people have like so much gold.
It's a lot of gold, yeah. Like that is an unorthodox quantity of gold, and I'm figuring this guy has probably been to prison at some point in his life. I feel like that's the type of skill that, like, if you're a straight dude, like you probably you learn to put things, conceal them in your ass in jail. Generally, that's where you get that skill from, right? Because where else are you gonna hide your knife, right? Like, obviously. You don't have a holster. They're gonna search you when you get to your cell. You gotta stab someone in the showers when you're naked. So you gotta put it, put it up take it to the hoop, right? So yeah.
It sounds like a Trick Daddy song, like take it to the house.
Take it to the hoop. Take it to the hoop. Shove the gold in your butt.
Take it to the hoop.
Yeah. Well,
I think we have time for one more.
One more. All right. Let's see what else you got.
Okay, I got and I quote, this is from The Cut. October 28th, 2020, article titled, "And Now, a Sinkhole Full of Rats."
Full of rats? Ew. That's a lot. That's a lot to take in.
So I will tell you what happened.
Yeah, I'm curious.
In one of the sure signs of an impending apocalypse we have yet seen, a New York City man fell about 15 feet into a pit of rats when the sidewalk sinkhole opened up underneath his feet.
Of course it's New York. It's the only place you could fill a sinkhole with rats. Jesus Lord. That is brutal. Like,
I read this. First of all, he survived.
Okay. That's good.
Broken bones. Haven't been able to contact him because he's, and I quote, deeply traumatized. Which
yeah, I bet. Oh, what a jeez.
I was just thinking about how crazy that is, and like, can you like the craziest thing about it is that it was only him. So on October 28th, the only person in the world that had that day was that guy. You know what I mean? So it's just like, so he's like, "How was your day today?" And he's like, "Oh, terrible." They're like, "Yeah, same." It's like, no. The ground broke out from underneath me, and I fell into a pit of rats. And they're like, "Yeah, you had a bad day."
It's a bad day. Yeah, I mean, like somewhere in the world, some dude stepped on a landmine, got his leg blown off, and he like read that article and it cheered him up. It's like, good God, a rat! Oh no, sinkhole. Did he fall into a sewer? Like, where were all these rats? Where they're just like the ground collapsed and the rats were all there. Like, you'd think that the dirt or the pavement or whatever was on top that sunk in would like cover up the rats, but he just like fell in. It was like a pit of rodents.
Well, he fell in with like, you know, the sidewalk, but when like I think that the like that would break his fall, but the rats broke his fall. So as you're already like, see, you have broken bones, so you can't move, and rats are crawling all over you.
Oh, that's like some Fear Factor level stuff, man. Like this.
Yeah, I want Joe Rogan to just come up and appear from the side, like like this is Fear Factor, like, you know what I mean? Like I don't understand.
Yeah, and it's like rats, they're really one of the only animals that scurries, you know, like that's how they move. They scurry about. Like, I don't want to be scurried on. Like if I'm gonna fall into a hole, I'd rather fall into a hole. I don't know what would be snakes isn't exactly more favorable. That's a bad example. But like if you fell into a hole full of like, I don't know, possums, right? Like that's still kind of gross and weird, but like they're not like, you know, like scurrying on you. Yeah, that's not. Oh, that sucks. What a poor guy. Very unfortunate that had happened to him.
And then New York clearly is taking no responsibility because they're like, "Oh, we had a sign that said this pavement is a little thinner than others," and I'm like, "Thinner?"
That was a sign? Thin pavement?
The sign literally says like, and like I need to pull this up because it's like the sign.
It's like those signs like bridge may have ice on it or like whatever type of thing, like a sinkhole may open up beneath you.
Oh yeah, danger, hollow sidewalk.
Hollow sidewalk? We'll just close it down. Why would you put out a sign? Why wouldn't you like caution tape it off so people don't walk on the hollow sidewalk? Like that's so like that's not even a surprising thing to happen in that case. Sinkhole, you think, oh my God, Jesus, New York, get it together.
Like, literally, danger, hollow sidewalk.
They're like, hey buddy, we warned you. Like he can't even sue them now. He fell into a hole. Yeah. Well, it's like you fell in a hole, you broke all your bones, you got rats scurrying all over your body while you're terrified and traumatized. And then at the end of the whole thing, they're like, dude, didn't you see the sign? Oh, Jesus, what a nightmare. Whew.
Right?
Poor individual. That's gross. I'm glad that's not happening to me.
I know, right? Do you have another one?
Yeah, I guess we got like a minute or two to do a quick one. We won't be too much time to talk about it, but the headline, I think, of this one was pretty good. Dairy worker arrested by cops after bathing in milk for viral video. And he did it like at the dairy plant. This guy did it. He looks like he's either naked or maybe only wearing shorts. Yeah. It's I'll show you the picture. It's basically a man in a bathtub full of milk. Yeah. So and he was arrested. Where was this? It was in Turkey. Remind me not to drink any Turkish milk. The person filmed with footage being shared on social media. He's shared it on social media too. That's like the one thing. It's like, dude, how bad do you want to get in trouble? That's like one thing. I can't believe that. I saw another one kind of great thing that's people, it was like the worst things that people shared from their jobs on social media. And one was like somebody who worked at Subway and all it said was, I froze my pee at work today. And this is a bottle of frozen urine.
No!
It's pretty good. Yeah, so bathing in milk. Anyway, I guess local authorities also fined the milk center and two workers. Oh, they carried out a police probe. Whoa. There was an investigation into this malfeasance of this dairy malfeasance. Interesting.
like, honestly, I know about milk baths, and I know that they're very popular, and like, I'm cool about that, but this is a little bit too far, no?
Yeah, just a little strange. I guess, he wants to go viral and like, sure, like you just discovered TikTok and everyone's getting famous and whatever. Cool. Anyway, so I guess we should wrap it up here. This has been a lot of fun. I really had a good time, and we're just going to wrap it up with a little bit of this word from our network. This show can be heard on the Barn Burner Radio Network on its 122 platforms. Please check out barnburner.ca for all the news and programming. That is Barn Burner.
Watch it.
Hear it.
Read it.
Download it.
Live it. Thanks so
Live
much,
it, ladies
guys.
and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and I'm Warren J, and